Michelle, and they are going to share a little bit of their camp experience with you. So this is Christina. She is a senior at Cascade High School, and she actually is on her lunch break from work right now to share her story. So,
made it here. Hi. So my Young Life career began when I was in 8th grade. I was at Eisenhower Middle School, so I'm doing wildlife. I was new to the school, so a couple of my friends had brought me over to this family called the Judases, and they were leaders. And their son was in my grade, so we all had the same friend group, and we always went to club every Friday night. And I didn't really have God in my life when I was in 8th grade, so I was kind of spaced out during the talks. I was mostly there for games and like hanging out with friends and stuff like that. So when spring rolled around and we started talking about camp, like, hey, are you signed up for camp yet? Like, are you signed up? Did you get your $100 deposit? I didn't know what any of that meant. I didn't really want to go to camp because I'd never been to a church camp, so it wasn't very interesting for me. But eventually I got peer pressured into it. My parents paid me the $100 deposit, and but neither of my parents are Christians, so they didn't really see why they needed to pay for camp for me, $500+ to send their kid off to Timbuktu. So it was up to me for me to fundraise all the money, and I was like, where am I going to pull $500 out of? I'm 13 years old, and I guess my leader had pulled together some strings, and like we did car washes and garage sales, and she knew a lot of people that like needed yard work and like pulling weeds, and I'm pretty sure I got arthritis and like a lot of back work, and I eventually just somehow made it to $500. And when I looked on the spreadsheet of like where I had to earn all my money from, it was just like from like connections and people that would want to pay a bunch of kids to like clean their yard, paint their house, and random stuff like that. So I was honestly in shock, just like at this community of people that were willing to pay a bunch of kids to pay or for them to go to camp, and it was really like weird to me because I never knew there was a community like that. So the following years that I've been to camp, I always had the security blanket that there would be people helping me out, fundraising money and scholarships and stuff like that. So thank you so much, you guys.
And now I get to introduce to you Michelle Magbag, who is a junior at Everett High School. So.
Hi everyone, so I'm Michelle, and I've been doing Young Life for 3 years. So I grew up in like a Catholic family, and I went to a Catholic school. So like my relationship with God, if you can even call it like a relationship, was super surfaced, and my influences came from my friends, and like just I had to do everything they did, and I became so competitive with them that I compared myself with them like all the time. As soon as I got to high school though, like my comparing with my friends got so bad that I would look into the mirror and I hated what I saw. Like I hated like how I looked, and especially the fact that I wasn't like skinny like my other friends, like to the point where I got so mad at myself that I began like not feeding myself. I would starve myself like weeks on end. It got to the point where I didn't tell, like I was lying to my family and I was lying to my friends about how much I was eating, and at the time I was still like really active in sports. So I would keep working out and working out and working out until the point I would almost faint. And, sorry. So I would, like, I kept telling myself, oh my gosh, like, this faint feeling, this means that I'm gonna get skinny, I'm gonna get pretty, people are gonna like me. And I hated how much I was trying to find the acceptance in myself. Like, I knew my family and my friends accepted me for who I was, and they loved me for who I was, but I couldn't see myself, like, as that person that they saw me as. And so, towards the end of freshman year, I was losing weight really fast, and I was just at this really unhealthy state, and one of my friends comes up to me, and she's like, hey, are you going to club tonight? And I heard about Young Life, and it just wasn't my thing. Like my relationship with God, I was always questioning, like, why would he make myself like look like this if I couldn't be like like my friends or anything. So, but then I thought about it more and I was like, hey, it's a new social circle, why not? So I walk into Young Life and the first thing that happened to me was one of the Young Life leaders, who's my Young Life leader now, goes, hey there, pretty lady. And I almost like broke down because it was like, what? This stranger, this like complete, oh, I'm sorry. This complete stranger thought me was like this beautiful person that I couldn't see myself as. And it was like the best feeling in the world. After club, she comes up to me and she goes, all right, do you want to go to camp with us? And I'm like, camp? Like, what's that? And so she told me about it, and I decided that, like, that sounds so cool, but I definitely couldn't afford it at that time. And she's like, you're going to go. You're definitely going to go. And I was like, okay, how are we going to do that? And she's like, fundraise. And that's what we did. I did car washes. I don't even know, like, yard work. I moved houses. It was crazy. So I got to go to camp that summer, and I found out there's a God that loves me for who I am, and what, like, I was His creation, and I was very good, and I was beautiful in His eyes, even though I couldn't see myself as that. He did, and He loved me for who I am, so it was amazing.